Hi everyone, today we have a financial question from paper 2. So in this question, give all answers to 2 decimal places. Brian decides to purchase a new car with a price of £14,000 but cannot afford the full amount. The car dealership offers 2 options to finance a loan. Option A 6-year loan at a nominal annual interest rate of 14%, compounded monthly, no deposit required, and repayments are made each quarter. Find the repayment made each quarter. So let's have a look. We firstly need finance mode on your calculator, and we can put in a few things. So it says a 6-year loan compounded quarterly. So the N value is going to be 6 times 4, which is 24. The interest rate, it says 14%, so we're going to put 14%. The present value, well, it says up here that no deposit is required. So no deposit required means that he is getting a loan for the full 14,000. So I'm going to put negative 14,000 because that's how much that he owes. The payments is the thing that we're trying to figure out. So just put 0 for that at the moment. The future value is going to be 0 because we want him to pay it off. The payments per year, it says the repayments are made each quarter. So that means 4 times a year. The compounds, it says compounded quarterly. So the compounds per year is also going to be 4. And we want to solve for the repayments. So we're going to put PMT F4. Payment is 871. So for AI, the payment equals 871.82. Back to the question, it also says give all answers to 2 decimal places. This is the payment. So in the marking scheme, you get a correct answer. I should also include units, by the way, so British pounds. I also need to include all of the data from my calculator. So I would need to write out the first one, which is n equals 24. N equals 24. I percent equals 14. All the way down, I'm not going to write it here, but you would need to write all of those data points that are in your calculator, just exactly as they are. That's for AI. For AII, if the payment is 871.82 and he is making 24 payments, remember it is 6 years and he's making repayments each quarter, so 6 times 4 is 24. So we're going to have each payment 871.82 times that by 24. And let's see what we get. We get this amount. So down here, 20,923.68. That is for the second part. So you get a mark for the correct expression, and you also get a mark for the final answer being 20,923. Third question, so I find the interest paid on the loan. Well, he is paying 20,923.68 and the loan was for 14,000. So we're going to minus 14,000 and this is going to be how much he is paying in interest. So we'll do that on my calculator over here. We get 6,923.68. That is the interest that he is getting paid on the loan. That one is worth 2 marks. You get a mark for the correct equation, the 20,923 minus 14,000, and then you get a mark for the correct answer of 6,923. Remember, all of that is for option A. Okay, for option B, let's do it down here. B, I. A 6-year loan at a nominal annual interest rate of R%, compounded monthly. Terms of the loan require a 10% deposit and monthly repayments of £250. Find the amount to be borrowed for this option. Well, it says a 10% deposit. So that means in the real world, you're putting in 10% of the money and you're getting a loan for 90% of the cost. So it says that the car is worth 14,000. So we are going to do 14,000 times 0.9. That is going to give me the amount that is going to be borrowed. So 14,000 times 0.9. He is borrowing that much, 12,600. You get a mark for the correct expression and you get a mark for the final answer being correct, 12,600. Actually, I need to put 2 decimal places, don't I? So 0.00. Make sure that you're careful with that. Find the annual interest rate. So second part, BII. Let's go back to my calculator. Let's go down to the financial mode. We want compound interest again. Again, when you're doing this, you would need to write down all of these different values. So you're going to put N equals. This time we've got a 6-year loan and it's compounded monthly. So monthly means 12 times a year. 6 years, 6 times 12 is 72. So N equals 72. So down in your little working out space, N equals 72. You're going to need to put all of these different values. I'm not going to write them here, but in an exam, you would need to write all of these. The interest rate is R%, so we don't know what the interest rate is, just put 0. The present value is not negative 14,000, it's negative 12,600, because that's how much he's borrowing from part BI. So negative 12,600. The payment, back to the question, it says terms of the loan require a 10% deposit and monthly repayments of 250. So the payment is going to be 250. The future value we want to be 0. The payments per year, it says monthly repayments. So per year is going to be 12. Compounds per year is also going to be 12 because it says compounded monthly. And we are trying to solve for the interest rate. So press F2, which is the interest rate, and we get 12.56 to 2 decimal places. Again, remember to write in all of the details down there that I have skipped over, but we get I% equals 12.56, and really it wanted it in terms of R, so really actually I should say that R equals 12.56 percent, and that's your answer for the second part. You need to be a little bit careful with the negative and the positive. So if your present value is negative 12,600, your payments are going to be positive. You could do it the other way around with a positive 12,600, but then your payment is going to be negative. It doesn't matter. You just need to get familiar with how you like to do it on your calculator. So do a few questions and make sure you can get it right. State which option Brian should choose. Justify your answer. Well, before we do this, if we remember in option A, he had to pay 6,923.68, 6,923.68 worth of interest. For option B, he is paying £250 a month. So let's go back to my calculator. He's paying £250 per month, and he's doing that for 72 months. So he's paying 18,000 minus 12,600 because that was the amount that of the loan, and he's paying 5,400 in interest. 5,400 in interest. But if you remember option B, he was required to make a deposit. So you could argue it two different ways here. You could either say that he should choose, if you say that he should choose option A, why? Because no deposit. And I'm looking at the marking scheme here. Both of those would be a valid answer. You would need to write this as a full sentence. Or you could say, now when you're writing it, only choose one of these answers, obviously, but both of these are acceptable. You could say that he is choosing option B because he has to pay less overall. So let's say pay less interest. The marking scheme, you would get a mark for stating which option, either A or B, and as long as your justification matches up to the option that you're selecting, then that is fine. So you can't say something like because his payments per month are less. You need to be specific to either the total amount paid, the interest amount paid, or the fact that he doesn't require a deposit for part A. Okay, for part D, says Brian's car depreciates at an annual rate of 25% per year. Find the value of Brian's car 6 years after it is purchased. Down here on the left, this is not given to you in the question. This is taken from the formula booklet. This is the compound interest. So the future value is the thing that we're trying to figure out. So future value equals the present value is 14,000 outside of 1. Now, it says depreciate. Depreciate means going down. So it's not actually 1 plus, it's going to be 1 minus. So minus, because it's going down. The rate is 25%. So 25 over 100 times K. Well, K is the number of compounds per year. And if it's an annual, then it's just 1. So we're just going to leave it as 100 to the power of K, which again is 1, times N. The number of years that we've got is 6 years. So 6. Let's get an answer for this. We get 14,000 outside of 1 minus 25 over 100 is 0.25. All of that to the power of 6 equals, and we get this as a number, 2491 points. It wants to 2 decimal places, so let's do 70. You need the units. For this question, it's worth 3 marks. You get 2 marks for showing the top line, which is the correct substitution, and you get a mark for showing the correct answer. The other way that you could do this is on your calculator. You could type in all of these different values. N equals 6, interest rate equals negative 25, and all of the other different values, and you could put final answer 2,491.7, and that would get you full marks. So this type of question, you need to step it through step by step and lay out as much information as possible in order to get the full marks.